All right, Beyond the Gates fans, we are here to talk about episode 23, which, keep in mind, was technically not meant to be a Friday episode. If my number and counting is right, then I believe this is what should have been a Wednesday episode. Yeah, March Madness kind of threw everything out of whack, so just keep that in mind. So, I didn't give this one a 10 out of 10. I thought it was good, don't get me wrong. I will give it an 8. Folks, not every episode is going to be a 10 out of 10, but this one, I feel the part that most people are talking about is Eva, or should I say the hood rat, getting one over on the bougie, bratty princess, if you will. So, this is one of the most intriguing episodes, though, because I have over a full page of notes, because a lot of stuff went down, a lot of deception from Anna. I'm just going to call her, but then again, she gets addressed as Shelly later, and then Dana. Look. Dana is like the horse of many colors from the Wizard of Oz. You just don't know what name or wig she's going to go by next. So, before going further in the video, make sure you take a moment, hit like and subscribe. Follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. And hit the bell icon and select all. That way you don't miss out whenever I post content on the channel. So, we have Kat still looking at her phone. That's pretty much her gimmick the entire episode. Looking at her phone to see if Eva has opted to take the bait. Eva is actually still over at, the house. And she calls her mom. And, she gets the voicemail. And it's hilarious. Due to the fact that this voicemail just fits Leslie to a T, and I think a lot of us are in agreement that, you know what, I need to reset my voicemail to the same thing. Oh, hello. Just so you know, I screen my calls because not everyone deserves my time. that is man, if I could send that to all the telemarketers and potential spam calls that my phone receives on a daily basis, my life would be a lot easier and petty. So we have Nicole actually, stopping by because remember, Ted and Eva talked last week, but then Nicole is just getting back, I believe, from the hospital, of course. No. She's just getting back from Danny's house, actually. And she asked why, Kat was there or Eva was there so late. And she explains, I just had a couple things to check out. And Nicole actually stopped by to do a few things on her computer. And after she finished, Eva was like, I'm just going to make sure everything's good and that we're logged out of the hospital, patient system, filing system and whatnot. So it never occurred to me. I mean, technically, Eva did tell Nicole why she was there. But if I were in that situation, because keep in mind, she doesn't know that it wasn't Nicole that sent her that email/text message. So as soon as Nicole popped up and asked, hey, why are you here so late? Oh, well, I got your message that said come over and yada, yada, yada. So I thought that Kat was going to say that. I don't know. And look, this isn't a knock on the episode. This is just me kind of scratching my head like, I wonder why things didn't go down that way. So in any case, she does invite Eva to dinner. And I know some fans are just taken aback by how open Nicole is to, welcoming Eva to like dinners and functions and whatnot. But I think some people need to realize when you really think about it, that's just how Nicole is. Because if you look at I haven't seen her in so long. Laura is the name of the assistant who got injured and Eva took her place. Mona, right? Mona is the other person that works for Nicole. The one we always see at the diner with Ashley's mom, I believe, named Jan. And Leslie, whenever they're just, sitting down, having lunch and just, gossiping. But, well, not Mona because, she really doesn't engage in that. But, yeah, Mona, right? So, to me, just based off how Mona talks about Nicole, it just seems like that's the kind of person she is. Like, it's kind of like what Ted said, they treat the employees like family. So it doesn't seem too out of the ordinary for Nicole to be inviting out, her employees to, lunch or dinner like that. So that was just my opinion. And Eva actually turns it down because, kind of like with Ted, she basically says, look, I don't want to, impose, because then Kat will feel like, oh, I'm just, yet again trying to take something from her. So we skip over to Uptown, and Dana and Ted are going back and forth outside of the restaurant. And essentially, Dana reveals that Ted paid her off to make her disappear, and then reveals that they did create a baby. So Ted was aware that Dana was pregnant, and yet he paid for the abortion, but Dana never got it, which I think we all know she only did it because she felt some kind of way about, Ted discarding her, which I gotta say, that's pretty sloppy on Ted to not follow up on that. Let's be real. Like, would you really trust someone who is a bitter, scorned side piece to get an abortion? That's his fault. Just saying. But at this point, Dana is trying to, pretty much do a shakedown where she wants $50,000 to, finally, quote unquote, disappear and leave Ted and his family alone. And he's $50,000. There's no way I can get that kind of money without it causing an alarm or something, within the finances, like at the bank or whatever. But she's like, well, make it happen. So he has to do it in cash. And that's pretty much what's going to happen. He says, look, fine, I'll get this $50,000, but the same person I called to make sure, you skip town the, last time, I still have them on speed dial. So, Now, after that, we actually go inside Uptown, and we got a couple of different, dinner dates going on. Ted comes in and notices that Kat, yet again, is still checking that phone on repeat. And he's vouching for Eva just to take it easy, because I think Kat accidentally says Eva's name instead of Chelsea when she was making up an excuse. Oh, I'm just waiting on a message from Kat. Oh, I mean Chelsea. So yeah, again, just trying to take it easy on her. So what? This is like the second person in a row. First it was Anna. Now it's Ted just saying, hey, give Eva a break. So then Nicole actually shows up and sees that Vanessa and Doug are there. Vanessa comes back to the table just as Doug is doing some online gambling on his phone. And Nicole makes a point to say, wow, it's been so long since I've seen you two together. And it's funny because when you look at the character descriptions for the cast before the show even began, it was revealed that Vanessa is actually Nicole's best friend. Yet I can count on one hand the number of times we've seen these two interacting on screen. We've seen more Vanessa and Danny scenes, probably due to the fact that, well, I think it was described as Vanessa being Danny's next door neighbor. So that's probably why. But it was just cool to see these two interact. And she makes a point to say, wow, and I mean, it's been so long since I've seen you, Doug. And I mean, where have you been? Oh, yeah. And then Vanessa just says, oh, well, this one has been at the hospital all the time. Yep. Day in, day out, burning the midnight oil. And it's like, wait, well, if you have that many patients, how come I don't see you around the hospital? Well, never the twins shall meet, like a surgeon and a psychiatrist. But yeah, I'm there. So she's like, well, yeah, we need to schedule a lunch date over at the country club sometime. So then she lets them get back to their dinner. And in the midst of the conversation, good old Joey pops up. Doug's looking like he's seen the ghost of Christmas past. And it's funny because, he just says, oh, well, hey, you know what? Thanks so much for those houses you recommended. I checked them out, and it looks like I found a couple of great options for my mom. And, she's all excited and says, oh, hey, why don't you sit down? And Doug's like, oh, no, I'm sure Mr. Joey here has a lot going on. And even though Joey is excited for the invite, he says, oh, actually, don't want to intrude on what seems to be a special night. Also, I think somebody's going to be a big winner tonight, looking at Doug and hinting towards the casino. So Joey's like, hey, rain check. And we got to schedule one of those meetings so you can show me around those houses. Well, yeah, just contact my office and my assistant will schedule something for us. And it's like, okay, no problem. And so you can look at Vanessa's face and kind of tell the disappointment. So as soon as Joey leaves, she's kind of like, Doug, why did you do that? Look, this is our special night, and I'm sure he's busy. And it's like, you just don't know that kind of guy he is. Well, no, I don't really know that much about him. I'm sure I heard things, but the fact that they're already having arguments over Joey kind of tells me, yeah, they're going to knock the boots at some point. I mean, a lot of people are theorizing Joey's probably going to get leverage over Doug via his desk to say, I want to sleep with your wife. But I feel like Vanessa is going to do this voluntarily, because this one tweet, this was my favorite Beyond the Gates tweet of the day. At this point, Vanessa will probably have sex with Quaker Oats, because she just doesn't have a type. It's like whatever she wants, she goes after. And I was laughing till I was crying, because I just thought to myself, I know she didn't just call Joey the man on the oatmeal box. That was just too much. But after, their brief conversation, Doug is like, oh, you know what, baby, I got to go. Well, what about our night out? He's like, yeah, well, I got to go. I'm just, dang, no wonder she'd be sleeping around. But he does go to the casino, but he shows up just moments after Joey talks to Randy, giving him some rigged cards. Like, you know what? Mr. Doug, had a lucky day the last time he was at a casino, so give this special deck to the dealers. And to be completely honest, I felt like this was coming, but I just like the idea of Joey just letting, well, pun intended, let the chips fall where they may. But then again, his whole thing, which he told Randy, during week 2, right? Look, if I get my weeks wrong, don't come at me in the comments. I'll just say in a previous episode, when he basically explained his plan to make Doug a mark, that his goal was to get Doug in the hole so bad that he'd have no choice but to do whatever he wanted. So at this point, yeah, these cards are pretty much going to put this dude in the hole, something fierce. And it's like, come on, Doug, man. You were doing so well. What was it? The last time he was there, he won so much that Joey was like, he was pissed off. Like, he's going to be out of debt by lunchtime if this keeps up. So the moment after Joey hands Randy the cards, Doug comes in. And then from there, you have Vanessa looking at her phone. This part kind of confused me. So she's looking at her phone at an app that seems to be Instagram-ish. Wait, hang on. I think in this show they actually use phrases like Facebook and Instagram to, show that they actually have the rights to use those names. So yeah, she's essentially on Instagram, I'm thinking, or Threads. It could be either one. And she's looking at this video. Well, I mean, she just opened the app. I don't know. Maybe, you know how it is. When you open the app, you get ads and whatnot. And there's a heart by, the number of like the hundreds of thousands of people that's watching this video from a casino. And she's kind of has like a little smirk on her face. So I'm wondering, what's this about? Like, does she just so happen to follow this casino page? Did she look it up because she's aware that Joey owns that casino? I don't know. Was this video being played kind of alive of the same game that Doug is playing right now and losing? Because Randy's off to the side and tells Joey that, hey, so I did what you asked. Well, that's not the only thing you did, because I got eyes and ears everywhere. Oh, I ain't gonna lie. I did like this line. It's like, even the ashtrays report back to me, Randy. So you're trying to get your friend out of this. Come on, Joey. Like, he's my friend. Like, why do you want to put him in the hole so much? And Joey just straight up says, look, this is your last warning, because I told you he's my ticket to my next big come up. So don't let me catch you trying to get him out of that hole again. And that's foreshadowing if I've ever seen it. Now, from there, dang, that was a bulk of the episode right there. Yeah, I just crossed off a bunch of my notes. Now, we go over to Bill. And he's hugging a woman. Now, when I first watched it, I thought he said Loretta, but I think it's Lorinda. It's a woman who he's talking to in his office. Now, Haley actually shows up, and sees Bill and this woman hugging, and she is pissed off because this is after hours. There's no one else at the law firm. So she actually hears them come out of the office, and she rushes to hide behind a corner or a plant, which actually I found hilarious because Eva used the same maneuver towards the end of the episode when Kat rushed home, which I'll talk about that scene next. But she sees him go over to the elevator, and this woman is like so, appreciative of Bill taking the time and being sensitive and understanding and this, that, and the third, and, keeping this from her husband. So he's just all, oh, well, it's no problem at all. And she gets on the elevator, and, he's looking all like, mm-hmm. So when he turns the corner and Haley pops up, oh, hey, baby. It's like, I thought you were at home. Didn't Caroline call you to tell you I was still at work? Yeah, she did, but you weren't answering my calls or my texts, so I just came down here myself. And, he's trying to go in for a kiss, but she's blocking it. And it turns out, well, she's jealous. She is jealous. So they go over to Bill's office, and he's like, yeah, so you want to go home? You want to go? Oh, no, it's like, yeah. So he goes back to his office, kind of wrap things up, and then, he's about to leave, and he wants to get a little busy in the office, but heck, even before they got there and were standing out in front of the elevator, Haley's all, well, don't you think it's a bad idea for someone who just got hit with a lawsuit a couple of days ago for being, frivolous and, inappropriate with employees to kiss me? And I'm thinking like, that's kind of doesn't matter at this point because, you're his wife. So Bill has to explain everything, essentially saying, look, Lorinda is in the midst of a divorce/custody battle with her soon-to-be ex-husband, and I was getting her to tell me everything, about the situation. Wait, so you're representing her? Bill. No, I'm not. Wait, so you're representing her husband? Bill, you can get this barred if it gets back to the courts that you used manipulation tactics to get things from the opposing side while representing the other. I'm not representing her husband. What do you mean? Well, basically, she wants to make sure she gets custody. That way, the kids don't hate don't hate her the way my daughters hate me. She actually said that to you? Yeah, well, living in a fishbowl, baby. Essentially meaning that, because of his fame and notoriety, everything that's been going on has been public knowledge, in his marriage and divorce and this, that, and the third, especially after that live stream. But essentially, Haley is just shocked at what Bill says next. So yeah, after, everything was cool at first. I was just, being a legal shoulder for her to lean on, essentially. But the moment she decided to take a personal jab at my life and my daughters, I'm like, you know what? Let me just kind of grease her palms emotionally, of course. Get her to tell me everything. Then I called up her husband and said, you know what? You need somebody to represent you. And now all the intel she told me in confidence, I can give to her husband in order to make sure the kids go to him and not her. And Haley's like, oh, so this is a slime ball tactic, but it's the level of petty I aspire to, where essentially Bill's like, okay, so you took a shot at me. Now I want to take a shot at you. Pow, pow. And this is a taste of how I feel like Naomi learned about her father doing things like this, and it's like, nah, he's just manipulating the system for his own will. This isn't how you're supposed to practice law. And that's why she opted not to work at the firm, because she didn't agree with him doing underhanded things like this. And it makes sense. It definitely makes sense. But it's like they say, never meet your heroes. Even worse is when it's one of your parents and you live under the same roof as them and you aspire to be like them. But once you find out who they are isn't who you thought they were, it just changes your entire perspective on them. So this is some deep stuff. So Haley, from there kind of shifts gears, and they talk about, yet again, that Bill is still on the outs with his daughters. And they mention the Naomi lawsuit and everything. And he's still like, I'm not worried about that. But, getting back with Chelsea is like, I was hoping, maybe we can open the lines of communication. And then it's like, wait a minute, babe. I see that calculated look on your face, like you're trying to make it happen. First of all, Haley, stay out of this. Like, seriously, you're the person who, look, it's not all her fault, because remember, it's like Bill said, look, me and Danny's marriage was on the outs before Haley even came to the picture. But Haley was essentially the straw that broke the camel's back. And there's no way, no feasible, believable way she could play a role in Bill and his daughters getting back together, let alone them, acknowledging her, especially in the role as stepmother, where it's like, yeah, forget out of my face. But they pretty much, just have a moment where Bill is reassuring that, hey, and you don't have to be jealous of me talking to some other woman, because Haley, no woman will ever come between us. And I'm thinking to myself, no. At some point, he's going to cheat. Because like Haley said, you know what? Me and you used to stay after hours and whatnot, and one thing led to another. So I think that Bill Danny warned her. I think the last time Danny was at the law firm, with the golf club and whatnot, and she got on the elevator, she warned Haley something. Oh, actually, no. This was when I think Haley was over at their house. Oh, yeah. When Haley was at, her and Bill's house, Danny came over to talk. And then before she left, she warned Haley that basically the way you lose them is the way you get them. Like, you think right now you have this happily ever after, but sooner or later, Prince Charming shows you the kind of bastard he really is. So Haley at some point is going to find out that, yep, she's going to get the Danny treatment. Because she even says like, well, Bill, are you going to feel the same way about me when we're both old and gray and, kids are making fun of, my backside and everything? Oh, baby, yes. And I'm thinking, what do you mean old and gray? You're going to be pushing Bill in a wheelchair before you even get a gray hair, Haley. What the hell are you talking about? So, I'm just thinking here like, man, you just don't know. But then they agree to go home and do the do, because he's like, so where you want to go? Uptown, the country club? No, let's go home and talk briefs. And I'm like, okay, I know what they're about to do. So from there, we shift over to Kat having dinner with Nicole and Ted, and she's excited about the purse line and whatnot, and says that, okay, Dad, don't worry, I'm not going to leave your practice anytime soon. But if, our purse line blows up the way I think, then, you might want to look for a new person to work under you. So yet again, they're like, okay, you've been looking at that phone all night. What's going on? So Kat actually sees Eva go into the office and do something shady. Now, at first, she logs off the computer, but then she takes that key, opens Nicole's file cabinet, and this is the part that kind of took me out of it. I'm like, okay, well, then again, there are people who do read out loud even when they're alone, so I can't really say that's unrealistic, but it just seems too, intriguing that she pulled out a file folder for Shelly Carter, one of Dana's aliases. And she mentions the part about how, she wanted to jump because her husband died, but then it turned out, no, it's because her husband actually left 6 months ago. So I wonder if that was an allusion to Alan. Probably was. But also on top of that, going back to what I said earlier in the episode when I thought it was weird that Eva didn't tell Nicole, what am I doing here so late? But didn't you message me? I got your message to come log out your computer. Why didn't Nicole say anything when Eva said, because before Nicole left, she told Eva, yes, Eva, did you have any luck finding out about that woman from the award ceremony, Shelly? Ted actually told me that, to drop it because you said you were no longer interested. I thought that was going to come up later on at the dinner, especially after Kat saw Eva on camera. And she's like, wait, we gotta go home. You know what Kat was acting like? Kat was acting like, what is her name? Okay, if you know the show, Phineas and Ferb, Candace, where every time she's trying to bust her brother, it's like, Mom, Phineas and Ferb are doing something. And then as soon as she gets her mom to pay attention, the thing they were working on or what they were doing disappears. That's exactly what this felt like, because she's like, look, Mom, Dad, we got to go. It's like, we just ordered dinner. We just ordered drinks. We can't just leave. Well, look, I got to go and you got to meet me home because I think her phone battery dies. Like, wait, do any of you have a charger? No. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Because she has Eva's like, yes, she took the bait. No, no, no. So she rushes out of there. And then sadly, Nicole and Ted have a conversation. Now you might say, why is it sad? Because you got Nicole and Ted talking and everything is good. Because earlier in the episode, Kat was telling her dad, like, oh, you're just like the perfect dad, the perfect husband and whatnot. And it's like, if you only knew Kat and Turtleneck Ted, talk to Nicole, and Nicole's like, I'm surprised you never gave me a reason to doubt, Ted. And I mean, I know we had our hardships and I could have sworn you would have walked out on me or left me because Nicole mentions that the rough patch they went through was when she wanted to have baby number 2 and I guess Ted didn't want it. But then eventually they reconciled and that's how Kat came about. But that's really messed up because I wonder if the reason he didn't want to have baby number 2 was due to the fact that maybe at the time he had that affair and found out Dana got knocked up and he didn't want to have anything like that happen again. But eventually he and Nicole had baby number 2. So it's like, oh boy, if only you knew about allegedly baby number 3. I ain't gonna lie, I'm still iffy on if Eva is biologically Ted's daughter until we get those DNA test results back. I just feel like it's one of those things where I don't know yet. I'll believe it. It's like those sayings like, hey, until we see a body on screen, I don't believe so-and-so is dead. But in this case, until the DNA test results come back, I don't fully believe Eva is Ted's daughter, even though the story seems to be pointing in that direction. But eventually Eva spots the camera and she's like, oh, so she pulls a Haley and runs to hide behind a plant in the corner because I think she hears the front door unlock. And then Kat comes in and it's like, hey, Eva, you simple bitch, where are you? And this is the part that kind of confused me. So after Kat rushes into her mom's office, you have Eva come from out of the corner because she's about to like dip out of there. But she sees Kat's phone. And I guess maybe Kat had a charger in her car because that's the only way this makes sense. So, and I watched the scene twice. Let me know if I watched it wrong. But she grabbed the phone and based off what happens later, Nicole and Ted arrive. So, yeah, what did you have to tell me? Well, yeah, the little red flag. I told you to ease off of Eva. No, here's the proof. What proof? She's like, So she looks on her phone and the footage is gone. So seemingly Eva was able to delete the camera footage from Kat's phone before she dipped out of the house and got home. And she actually has a brief conversation with her mom and learns about the whole situation involving $50,000. Like, wait, the $50,000 to make you disappear. What about your scheme? Oh, the scheme is going on, baby girl. That $50,000 was just a bonus. But I will expose, Ted for how deceptive he is and the fact that you're his daughter at their anniversary party. So we cut to Kat, having a shot and, she's taking the jabs like hood rat 1, simple bitch 0. And everybody's talking about that for good reason. It was a very smug scene and you could literally tell, yep, Eva is her mother's daughter. So yeah, my question is, I guess that, I guess Kat's phone died at the restaurant or Uptown. Then she was charging it in her car as she got home because if her phone died and she rushed in the house to bust Eva, then she had to have charged it on the way home enough for it to at least be on. That way when Eva slipped out and took the phone, she could delete the camera footage off of it. And also, how big is Nicole's office? And like, where is the office in conjunction to the living room area? It's not that far because we saw in a previous episode that Eva was eavesdropping from the office on Ted telling Nicole not to look into Shelly. So it's like Kat went in. Well, then again, if the phone had died, and look, I know I'm overthinking this, but I'm trying to make sense because somebody online was like, okay, the people in this show need to learn how to hide realistically because there's no way like Bill and that woman didn't see Haley behind the corner, and Kat couldn't see Eva. And I'm like, yeah, that is realistic, because from the point of vision, they are well hidden, especially Eva, who was behind one of the plants too. So that side of the wall she was hiding on wasn't visible to Kat as she rushed in to go into the office. But I'm assuming she left the door to the office wide open. So when she went in the office, it was a straight line between the entryway to where the camera was behind Nicole's desk on that shelf. So Kat was standing there at the in the office, and Eva was right behind her, at least in her line of vision. So I don't know. Like I said, maybe I'm just giving this too much thought, but either way, Eva got the upper hand in this one. But she needs to learn how to be more careful, because now it's like, okay, she had a camera hitting on me once, she'll probably have another camera hitting on me again. So now Kat looks stupid. So we go over to Smitty and Martin, and they question Terrell about the scars and whatnot on his face. And him and Samantha lie. They basically said like, oh, well, he was doing bike tricks and he crashed out. And he's like, wait, what? So neither Smitty or Martin believe this. So Martin tries to approach Samantha about it, and she's very coy, saying, oh, well, I mean, believe what Terrell told you. I mean, that's what happened. He was on his bike, fell off. Wait, so is it the sidewalk, the bike, or up, a tree root or something that tripped him up? What's going on? Oh, well, that's all I have to tell you. I got trigonometry homework to do. Oh, yeah, maintain that 4.0, that 4.25, Dad. So I thought that was pretty cute scene between the two. And then when Smitty is trying to put the medicine on Terrell's face, he's like trying to get him to open up. It's like, hey, nothing happened. I mean, you just worried about nothing, okay? So he gets nothing out of it. So later on, Smitty and Martin have a conversation, and I actually like these two in the episode, because it really just was these two trying to work together to find out what's going on. It's like, you have any luck with Terrell? Nope. You and Samantha? Nope. She's definitely taken out of me, being able to, duck and dodge, questioning like it's a political conference. And Smitty just knows something's up, but he's concerned because he's like, hey, at my age, I was hiding stuff from my parents. So there's no telling what's going on now. And I like how they brought up my idea. Like, wait, do you think maybe he's getting bullied at school because he has two dads and whatnot? I think somebody in the comments on my last video or on a post on social media was like, it's 2025. There's no way somebody would be bullied for something like that. And I'm like, I mean, even though it's more quote unquote normalized now in society for someone to have two parents of the same gender, there's still bullying that goes on for that. So that's why I brought it up as a suggestion. But no, come to find out, okay, let me see if I wrote this down verbatim just to see if I can, make sure what's going on. So Sam and Smitty both vouch to be more present, dinner time, homework time, because the more present they are, the more likely their kids will be open to them, in terms of like letting them know when something's wrong. And I like how Smitty wasn't, aggressive, but was a little stern to make Martin know that, look, it doesn't matter if I go back to work, because I would still be present for the kids, especially since being a reporter, most of my work could still take place in the household. And like if I did have to go out, more often than not, it would be me going out while the kids are at school and whatnot. So don't think like me going back to work would be a detriment to us finding out what's wrong with Terrell. Like, you also need to make an effort in order to, be here as well. So I like how they both vouch on this. But then again, we've seen Martin, break promises before, specifically about Smitty going back to work. But when it comes to the kids, it does seem like he is on the same wavelength of, yeah, we both got to do better. So from there, Terrell says he was changing in the locker room and wearing like his nerdy boxers or whatever. And Samantha's like, not the chess ones. And I'm thinking like, are those technically nerdy? Because chess, I don't know. Look, I'm 33. What was considered nerdy and whatnot when I was in school definitely isn't considered nerdy now. Like, comic books and anime. Now you aren't one of the cool kids if you don't know about that stuff. Come on, nephew tells me all the time. Yeah, me and some of the guys at school were talking about like, who could beat Goku and things like that, because in the world of YouTube and whatnot, those are the kind of videos everybody watches for the most part. So yeah, you like, if you don't know about the latest Marvel movie or DC movie, you're out of the loop. But when I was, in school, like, it was kind of a niche thing that would, get you at the nerds table if you're talking about like Iron Man versus, I don't know, Thor or something like that. So I don't know. Nerdy boxers, whatever. So Terrell said somebody took a photo of him changing on his phone and then sent a picture to, was it Ashley? I forgot the girl's name. Essentially a hot girl at school. And then her jock boyfriend, because Samantha says like dad's going to ask, well, our dads will ask questions when they, especially they'll eventually find out you got sucker punched by a jock twice your size. So this jock, who is the boyfriend of this girl who received the photo from Terrell's phone, thinks that Terrell sent it on purpose. And also, I'm not victim blaming here, but even I know that, okay, if I were anywhere, whether it be school or even back when I was in the office working and everything like that in my old job, well my call center job, I was working at the college, they were like, hey, whenever you get up from your computer, whether it's to go speak to another like financial aid or student accounts or one of the your supervisor about something, make sure you lock your computer screen so nobody can like fiddle around with it. That was like rule number one. So I can only imagine if I were still in like middle school or high school, if I had my phone, if that phone was not in my hand, that phone would be locked because, people are assholes. So who was this person that took this photo anyway? It's like, was it a jerk friend of his or something? That's kind of a dick move. And now they pretty much agree that, look, given that, one dad is a reporter, the other one is like, yeah, we don't want our other dad to find out because, him being a politician, he'll go down to the school and then get the parents involved and this, that, and the third. So they eventually hey, I have your back, bro, but at some point our dads will find out. So I think it's like senseless for you to try to hide it because eventually they will find out. So I wonder how this is going to unfold. Now from there, wow, I think I covered everything. Let me just double check my notes here. Ted, Haley, Terrell, Bill. Okay. All right, well, that's pretty much it. And what another week of Beyond the Gates. Look out for my video where I do my trailer breakdown and talk about the upcoming episode starting on March 31st. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you all in the next one. And no, I have not forgotten that at some point I will do a live stream where we can talk about the episodes all at once.